Hello everyone, and welcome to my first Clickteam Fusion 2.5 tutorial. So what we're going to be doing is making an online platformer. In the first beginning tutorial, I'm going to show you basically how the movement works and jumping works, and using the platform movement object. So we're going to first create a new project. So go ahead and click this icon here, or hit Control N on your keyboard, or hit File and New from the drop down. Go ahead and double click on our new frame here, and then the first thing we're going to do is add our player object. So go ahead and double click in the frame, select active, okay, and now to edit our active object, because it looks pretty bland right now, just double click on it, and there we go. So right now we have our stopped animation selected. So you can either create a new sprite just by drawing. I'm going to use a game maker sprite that we have, or that I have here on my computer. So let me just go to my documents here, and I'll upload this file so that way you guys can download it if you don't have it. Click Maze Platform. Okay, and I'm going to use Explorer Right Strip. I'm going to hit open, and I'm just going to select frame 1 to 1. Okay. Now this is our hotspot and our action point, and we're going to go ahead and center both of these. This is how our sprite, or our sprite's rotation axis, and the hotspot is where we either shoot bullets out of, or if we're holding a whip, that's where it's going to be held at. So go ahead and just center both of these. We're going to copy this, click the right frame, or the left frame, excuse me, paste it, and then go ahead and just click this here to flip it horizontally. Now we're going to do the same thing for the walking animation. Hit open. Just go ahead and choose the same sprite. Make sure it says from frame 1 to frame 8. Hit OK. And then we're going to center all these as well. Now once you have all those done, double check to make sure you didn't skip any. Select all of them. Right click, copy. Select the left animation again. Go ahead and paste it. And then we're going to flip all of these horizontally as well. Okay. And now one last thing we want to do, because if we hit play, we see our animation goes but it stops. We're going to hit direction options, loop it, and we're going to set this to 25 because 50 is a little fast. So I'll go ahead and select both of these. Now if you hit play, you can see it keeps looping. It's at a good speed. Go ahead and do that same thing for this one. Loop, 25, 25. Okay, and now we'll add a jumping animation here. So let's go ahead and import, because there is a jumping sprite here. There we go. Hit OK. Center these. Copy. Paste. And flip. And we'll do one for falling and climbing, but that'll be a little bit later. Actually, you know what? We'll do falling now. Just go ahead. Excuse me. Just go ahead and copy frame 1 of jumping and paste that here for now, and we'll change this a little bit later. Paste it here as well, flip it, and climbing we'll do later. Okay. Alright, so here is our first object. Let's go ahead and hit F2 and rename this. I'm going to name this player sprite. There's a reason for this, and you'll see it very shortly. Let's go ahead and bring this outside of our frame. And now what we're going to do is add our platform movement object. Now if you don't have the platform movement object like I do, if I search platform or just plat up in the search bar here, it shows up in my inventory of objects. If you don't have this, go ahead and click manager, type platform movement object, there it is, and just hit install. Once it's installed, then you can search it here and it should show up. Double click on it once you have it, bring it into our room, just hit OK for now, and drag this off to the side as well. Okay, and create another object here, and we're gonna rename this, so just hit F2 and call this one player mask. Click to edit it, delete this, and go ahead and just create a solid black box. Solid black box. Try and make it even on both sides, something like this. Make sure everything is centered. And okay. We'll bring this down here for now. And lastly, for our movements, normally you would go into the frame editor and you could program the movements here. But we're not going to be doing this for reasons. Say if you want to create a new level, you'd have to reprogram or copy and paste all those actions again, and this way we're not going to have to, or the way I'm going to show you is the way that we don't have to keep doing that. So create one more object, so active, go into it, just Control A, delete that, and then select your brush tool. I'm going to set my size to 5, or your line tool, and then I'm just going to choose white, and I'm going to create sprite really quick, and it's just going to be a big G, and I'm going to outline it with black, so I'm going to resize it to 1. And I'm going to rename it. I'm just going to call it global player. Move this off to the side. And we're going to create our actual platform, so quick backdrop. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and set this as a motif. Double click on it. I'm going to open a file. Go down to the bottom here. I'm going to select the wall block. Hit OK. Okay. And then we're just going to resize this using the coordinates here. So this is going to be at 0. And then Y is going to be what? Our room size is 640 by 480. So let's do 480 minus 32, 448. Okay. And then we're going to do width is going to be 640. And height is just going to be 32. Okay, and then what we want to do is come here to our runtime options, and where it says obstacle type, we're going to select obstacle. Okay, so now into the event editor, we're going to set a new condition. We're going to say always, and we're going to set our position of our player sprite to our X position of our player mask. And set the position or Y coordinate of the player sprite to the position of our player mask, or to the Y coordinate of the player mask. Hit OK. And then, alright, and then we're also going to come into platform movement object. And we're always going to set, actually, you know what, we'll do a start a frame for this one. We'll come and set our object to the player mask. Hit OK. Alright, now we're done with the event editor. Don't need to do anything else there. So if we hit run now, you'll see, and actually I'm going to come back in here one more time, and we're going to set order, move in front of an object. I'm going to set our player mask. Okay, so now if we run our game, we see our player sprite is on our player mask, and it falls, but it doesn't collide with the platform here. So let's go ahead and set that up. So in our global player object, click on the events here, add a new event, edit, I'm going to create a new group, so insert group of events. Let's call this player, and then here we'll insert another group. We'll call this one collision. Okay, we'll add a new event, and we'll say, you'll select import here. Let's say if our player mask is colliding, and we'll say overlapping a backdrop. Oh no, we'll just hit collides with the backdrop. And we'll say insert, import, and we'll say also if the platform movement object is testing for an obstacle overlap, then under the platform movement object here, we'll say, where's the states? Oh, collisions here. Object does overlap with an obstacle. Go ahead and run this. And that did not work. Oh, that's why. There we go. So now our player collides with the backdrop. Doesn't move left or right yet. So we're going to handle that as well. We're going to go ahead and insert group of events. Let's just hit movement. We're going to say keyboard, repeat while pressing a key. We'll say right. And we'll hit on user input, user's holding the right key. Now if we test this, that goes right, that works. Same thing for the left. Go ahead and hit left. On user input, user's holding the left input key. Alright. And we have a problem here. You see it's not working, and that was my fault. That's because I hit upon pressing the left arrow key. We want to replace this with repeat while key is pressed and left. There we go. Alright, and we also have one more problem. So if we hold the right and the left arrow key at the same time, they stop, but there's a glitch with this. It won't always work. So sometimes it'll keep moving when you're pressing both arrow keys. So what we want to do is insert, repeat while key is pressed, and we'll hit left. And with the bottom one, or with the left arrow key, we're going to negate this. And do the same thing for this one. So we're going to insert, repeat while key is pressed, right. And we're going to negate this one. And now this will guarantee that it never keeps moving if you're pressing both keys at the same time. Alright, so now that we got that working, let's go ahead and handle jumping. So we're going to insert new group of events. Let's call this one jump. So this one we're going to say if our object is standing on the ground, and upon pressing the key, I'll just hit the Z key. We're going to say on user input, jump. Okay, so we're on the ground. hit Z, and it jumps. And if you hold Z, you can keep jumping. And I'm using this effect because we want to remake a game similar to Shotgun Fun Fun, but we're gonna use it online. And they had an action where you could keep jumping just by holding the jump button. Now you could switch this around. So if you switch these, you run it. Now you have to press Z every time you hit the ground in order to jump. It's your preference, however you want to set it up. Okay. So with that working, let's go ahead and handle some animations. So we're gonna import our player sprite. Hit OK. And then, so if test for obstacle overlap, collides with the background, and then here really quick we'll insert a new line, and we're gonna say start a frame. That should be in there. There we go. Direction, select direction. We're gonna set it to right. Okay. So if we're on the ground. Okay, so for moving right, we're going to set our animation, change it to animation sequence, walking. Okay. Just go ahead and click and drag this one down here. We'll select direction to right, and then here we'll do the same thing. Select direction, and we'll do left. Let's test that out. That works. That works. Alright. Now we're going to say if object is moving, we will negate this. Animation. Change animation sequence to stopped. Alright, that's working good. Now for our jumping, I'm going to say object state, object is jumping, animation, change to jumping. We'll do the same thing for falling. Object state, object is falling, and animation, change to falling. There we go. That's working good. Okay. Now, what we want to do is go ahead and select your player mask. We're going to go to the display options, uncheck visible at start. Now we can't see our mask here, but we can move left, right, we can jump, we got our animations playing good. And one last thing I want to do, go ahead and double click on your platform movement object, put your jump strength to 20, that'll work, just so we can see it. We'll edit that later. Go back into our global player, edit his movements. We'll add a comment here. Let's call this hold jump. And what we'll say is repeat while pressing a key, Z. Insert another condition. The object state, object is jumping. And we'll go here, and on user input, user is holding jump in the air. Okay, so now if we tap Z, that's how we jump. If we hold it, we go a lot higher. And we can increase the speed and everything later on. But for now, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one.